If you look at people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, even people like Mark Zuckerberg and the late Steve Jobs, heck, you can even throw Trump in there. None of these people are smarter than you. None of these people deserve their wealth any more than you. And heck, a lot of you guys are probably more capable of making a shitload more money than any of them. The difference between you and them is that they are able to compress time and execute at a speed that you can't even keep up with. Every single person that is in the top 0.1% has a 4-step execution system, very simple, that I'm going to outline for you in this video. The first step, you need to identify the constraint of the business. I cannot tell you how many times, not only me personally, not only the entrepreneurs that I work with, but random people that I come across aren't focusing on the constraint of the business. Let me give you an example. This logo right here, this beautiful, lovely logo, you know how long it took me to make this logo? 0 seconds. Because ChatGPT made it, I didn't make it. But you know how long it took me to actually decide to make this logo? Probably 2-3 months. I had this business idea. I was like, I'm going to start an execution company where I basically hold entrepreneurs accountable and I place executives. Anyways, it took me 2 whole months to actually decide to make this damn logo. And I'm telling you, that hesitation between ideation and execution is the longest time on earth, and that is the time that keeps most people broke. But why did I make it in 0 seconds? Because it wasn't the constraint of the business. Let me give you a secret tactic, okay? If you are an entrepreneur, listen up, come close. The constraint of your business is probably advertising. I'm going to say that one more time. The constraint of your business is probably advertising. Now, some of you might say, no, but my service isn't good enough. How does your service become better? When you have people giving you data, giving you information on how to make your service better. And some of you guys might be working on your websites. Is that the constraint of the business? You don't even have data. You have no data, no information to actually validate the changes and the iterations that you're obsessively making to your website, your landing page, or your service. You want to ruthlessly identify the constraint of your business. And again, this isn't always the case. For a lot of people, they're not in a demand constrained business. They're in a supply constrained business. So the actual constraint for them is hiring more people, getting employees or getting people that deliver on the service. But for 99% of people, and again, my company right here has worked with 100 plus entrepreneurs. Again, a little more social proof for you. 99% of the people that come across just need to advertise more. And let me give you another secret. This is going to absolutely blow your mind, okay? So revolutionary stuff that I'm teaching you guys. You're definitely not just fundamental bullshit that I package in a more eloquent way so that it sounds fancier. When you advertise your service, get this, your service automatically becomes better. Now, when you look at people like Steve Jobs, when you look at people like Jeff Bezos, like Mark Zuckerberg, what did they focus on? All of them ruthlessly focus on the constraint of the business. I want to give you Steve Jobs' example in particular. Now, yes, Steve Jobs obsessed over the Mac, obsessed over the product. He obsessed over the iPhone, I understand. Every single year, he had a presentation. You guys have probably seen one of these presentations where he actually sold his products. When Steve Jobs was running those presentations, that was the constraint for him. That and people, recruitment. There's a very famous saying that goes, Steve Jobs did not invent the iPhone. He didn't build the iPhone. He built the team that built the iPhone. Gary Keller, who owns Keller Williams, which is the largest real estate company in the entire world, said the same exact thing. What does he say? He said, he literally has a book. Let me show it to you. I have it right here. He has a book that's called The One Thing. Okay, right here. Literally says The One Thing. The one thing is basically the constraint of the business. If you read this book, which I have, what he basically says is that the one thing for him at Keller Williams was recruitment. He had to recruit as many agents as possible to basically grow his company. So again, oneness, monoconstraintism. I was about to say monotheism. Monoconstraintism. You find one constraint that you ruthlessly obsess on in your business, and it's very likely advertising. Second thing, very important, very revolutionary. You eliminate everything else. What did Steve Jobs say? Once again, focusing is about saying no. The elimination can be of 2 kinds. Okay, there's 2 main things that you got to eliminate. First thing, distractions. Stuff like this video. I'm sorry, it's true, okay? This video that you're watching right here is a distraction. I don't touch my YouTube account. Heck, even when I didn't have a lot of money, I used to pay a VA to do all this stuff. Post on Instagram, post on TikTok, post on LinkedIn, post on X, and I had access to none of these platforms. Point is, I didn't want the possibility of me being distracted through any of these platforms, because I'm going to be honest with you, I am a very easily distractible person. A lot of people will say, oh, is that a good belief to tell yourself? I don't know. The thing is, the things that I've done as a result of that belief is I literally make it impossible for me to get distracted. I don't open my window until I've done at least 7 hours of work. I wake up in the morning, first thing I do, get straight to work. Nothing else, get straight to work. I keep working until I'm done with work. I don't take any calls. I don't check any of my messages. I don't even talk to my business partner. I have my business partner blocked on Slack. Nobody can touch me. Nobody can contact me while I'm working here. Elon Musk is very famous for doing this. He hates meetings. All of the biggest names in business hate meetings. Jeff Bezos hates meetings. Steve Jobs hates meetings because meetings are a waste of time. So the distraction can be YouTube, it can be Instagram, it can be TikTok, it can be LinkedIn, it can be meetings. But the distraction can also be the work that you're working on. If I'm obsessing over making this logo, or if I'm working on a new branch of the business, let's say we're running ads, we're doing decent amount of volume on ads, and I start building a personal brand. Even though every guru and their mother is telling everybody, you start a personal brand, it's the most valuable thing when AI comes about, it doesn't matter. If ads are the main thing, then ads are the main thing until you reach the extinction curve with ads where you grow them so exponentially that they stop growing and you start getting such diminishing returns on your time, your effort, your focus, and your attention. Until then, you do not do anything else except that one thing. So the work that you're working on can be a distraction, and I am telling you, please listen to this, please. This is what keeps 99% of entrepreneurs stagnated. This is what keeps people that are starting out, people that have already scaled to a certain point, people that have, reached 1 million, 2 million, even 3 million a month. It keeps them stuck because they stop focusing on the right things. They're not focusing on the constraint of the business. They're doing fake work. They're researching. They're funnel hacking. They're doing consulting deals on the side, or they start opening new businesses. Third thing, you want to break down the constraint as much as possible. This is a very tactical tidbit. The reason why you find it so hard to do the work that you actually need to do is because you haven't broken it down into easier steps. Let me give you an example. If I told you right now, let's go build a car, do you even know where to start? I personally don't. But what if I told you that you had to first get a chassis, then you had to get all the body panels, and then you had to contract a mechanic, find an engine that, when you break things down, how much easier does it sound? So much easier. Or let's say that I tell you, let's build a dock. We're in a mansion. Let's say we build a dock on the coast. It's overlooking the ocean. You and I have no idea how the hell to build a dock. But if I told you, let's walk to the edge of the mansion, let's scope out the area, let's call a contractor to tell us the next steps, makes it sound a heck of a lot easier. What did I tell you in the first point? The constraint of most businesses is advertising. The way that you actually break down the constraint of advertising is you boil it down to inputs. Simple inputs. How many calls, how many DMs, how much money spent on ads, how many pieces of content posted. That's it. That's how you break down the constraint of your business into inputs. And I'm telling you, when you know what to do, you eliminate literally everything else, and then you break down the constraint of the business into tangible inputs that have a number attached to them, it becomes very hard not to do the work. Number 4, track your execution hourly. And again, I'm going to get very tactical here. Every single entrepreneur that is in the top echelon of business, that has scaled their business to multi-9, even 10 figures and beyond. Say it doesn't matter if they wake up in the morning, stay up at night, doesn't matter if they're a morning owl, I guess morning owl isn't a thing, or a night owl, none of that shit matters. The only thing that matters is whether or not they have uninterrupted time, where they're not putting fires out in the business, they're not working in the business, but they're actually moving the constraint forward, the constraint that we identified prior. So this is what you want to do. Block out time on your calendar. 4 hours minimum. Ideally 6 to 8 hours where you're just working on the constraint of the business. And by the way, what was point number 2? Eliminate everything else. If you're doing anything else and it's not the constraint, don't do it. There's no point in doing it. But add hourly feedback loops to ensure that you're meeting your quota. Let's say you need to make 300 calls, or let's say you need to send out a certain number of emails, and you need to do that for 4 hours. That is actually going to make you money, first of all. Second of all, what you want to do is every single hour have checkpoints where you're kept accountable to how many you're supposed to be doing. So let's say it was 200 calls, and you have to do that over 5 hours. How much is that? Around about 40 calls an hour. Every single hour, checkpoint, 40 calls. Checkpoint, 40 calls. Now again, this is a very simple way of explaining an accountability system. We have a whole bunch of accountability systems that we give away for free at my company Compass. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down below. Probably some exciting new offer that you guys can jump on. But again, accountability is the important point here. And the tactical tidbit here is you want to have consequence-based accountability. If I don't make 40 calls every single hour, let me give you a real-world example that's literally demonstrated live for you right now. You're watching this video, correct? Yes, you are. You know why you're watching this video? Because I'm contractually obligated to ensure that a video is posted by my content team. I need to make sure that it's posted every day or I lose 1% equity to my business partner. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a consequence-based accountability system. Not only that, I'm tracking what hour. This is the 7th hour that I'm currently working. And I'm using a software to actually track and record every single hour that I work. One of the softwares that you guys can use is called RIZE. It's basically a screen time tracking tool that you can use for your Mac or your Windows tool, whatever it is. But again, just tracking is not enough. Accountability. Accountability is the important thing. And there is no accountability if there is no consequence. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, don't like the video. Leave your hate comments, love comments, platonic, non-platonic comments, whatever the hell it is, leave them down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.